Alright guys, so we got a customer in here. He's got an injector leaking. I blocked them all off and I know that 5 and 2 are leaking really bad, and then one I capped it off. It held 29 psi, 29,000 psi, so I put it back on. It's leaking down a little bit. So we're going to take the coil tube out, inspect it, clean it, put it back in, and see if that fixes it. If that don't fix it, I guess I'll be buying more injectors. The coil tube did not fix 2 and 5. So pretty much, if you want to buy these little cap-offs, they're kind of expensive, but it's something that the customer can do themselves. All you got to do is take the line off and put this cap on. Like that right there. And then you can just, if you got insight or know somebody with it, they can just hook up to it and you just crank it up, turn the key off, or turn it back off, turn the key back on, see if the fuel pressure drops. There's a certain number that it can drop to, but most of the time when you got a bad injector, it's going to drop straight to nothing. I put all these back on, and I will before we replace the injector, just so y'all can see it. Y'all see it, then it drops straight to 0, so you'll know kind of what to look for. Right now I'm about to take number 1 back off and inspect the coil tube. Alright, so you pretty much take this nut right here, loose, it's 27mm. Grab your line. And then line back down on the coil tube. Just pull it out. Alright, so the coil tube's out. Pretty much you want to look right here, make sure there's no debris, no rust or nothing. If there is, clean it. This one was pretty clean. Everything looked good. So we're going to put it back on and re-torque it, and hopefully it just wasn't torqued enough and it'll be good to go. And I have to cover the injector right here. Alright, so we got number 1 all back together. Let's go in here and crank it up. See right now, right here there's no PSI. I mean there's a little bit, but I broke the line loose to put everything back together so it relieved all the fuel pressure. So we'll just crank it up and run up and try it out. So if you do the fuel leakage test, maybe right here, all you do is start it. Sometimes they might run up and drop back down, but they'll run up again, so just keep letting it do the same. It does sound a little rough because I feel for the beating. Key back on. Sometimes if you're not quick enough, you have to hit retry when it comes back up to reconnect to the computer. Well, that one out there fixed her voice. Alright, so we still have 2 injectors capped off. Them 2 injectors are leaking pretty bad. I'm gonna try to take the coil tubes out of them and clean them as well. If not, we'll be putting 2 set of injectors in here.
I don't change. I said you good.
Back on. I'm gonna run number 5 up. See if the coil tube fixed it. Send them back down to 26 quick before they even finish cycling. That's exactly what will happen. Sorry about that. I'll keep on going now. So it looks like we're gonna replace number 2 and 5 injector.
So we're pretty,
Alright, so we're gonna have to pull the injectors out. You see the injector harness is over the top of the injector, so we have to get that out of the way first. It's 5mm Allen and either 7mm or 5/32, or 9/32, sorry, socket for the injectors. Let's get this harness out of here. Harness is off. You can get into the injector hold downs. Now we gotta pull the coil tubes out to be able to pull the injector out. Tubes are out. So it's not the injectors. Alright, so this is a good tool to pop the injectors out. Just get underneath them, just give them a little pop, and they'll pop right out. After you have the coil tube out, you have to take the coil tube out first. If you don't, it's not gonna go nowhere. Alright, injectors are out. Ready to sucker, just suck all the fuel out. You do not want to replace the injector and not suck out the hole, because if you do, it will hydrolock the engine. Because when you pop the injector, you'll see the fuel run down in the cylinder. So just make sure you suck it out real good. Alright, so got injectors out, got a new injector. Make sure you take a picture of this, because you have to reprogram it to the ECM once you put the injector in. It should be the very bottom number. Injectors. They don't have like a lineup like the coil tube does. You just gotta make sure you got those 2 in the bin. And when you set it down in there, put this on there. If you can start this bolt. No problem like that. And you look, make sure that the injector, you can rock it back in 2. See the injectors in there good? Then you know you're lined up in the hole right. Alright, we got everything in. Now we're gonna torque it. When you're torquing these, there's a sequence. Injector, coil tube, injector, coil tube. First torque, you do 177. So do 177 on the injector. And then I finish the coil tubes. Alright, we'll do 60. If you do not torque these right, you're not going to fix the problem. We had a guy come in and he got an end frame done somewhere else, and he was leaking fuel, and so I was capping his injectors off, and I had to pretty much cap all of them off. And so I got to pull the coil tubes out and check them, maybe, thinking maybe they didn't clean them when they put them in, and they were all probably 15-20 pounds of torque. And I'm like, well, there's my problem right there. So I retorqued them all. Sure enough, that was the only problem. And on these, double check them just to make sure they're torqued good. Alright, it's back together enough for us to test it. Alright, so you need to put the injector trim cut in.
The what?
They're right here to advanced DCM data.
Mm-hmm.
Hit this one right here for the injector setup. You'll come over here. I'll tell you new barcode. And whatever number injector you put in, we already did number 2. I could have done them together, but we put the wrong code in for here. So all it says invalid barcode. You just put it in again. And then send it to ECM. Alright, so after you put it in, that's the code you should get. Once you get that, you're good to go. Let's fire her up, see if she holds. Alright, so it ended up being 3 injectors. We got them all 3 in, crank it up, run the pressure up. See where it says fuel rail pressure measured? Right there? That's what you want to happen. You want it to stay at 28,000. It can drop a little bit in like a minute. There's a, right here you can tell your test time. But it's barely dropping. We're up to 29, so he hadn't even dropped 1,000 in a minute. Is everything back together? He did it himself. I showed him how to do the other 2. That's the man right there.
Man that knows the man.
Oh, that's right. So he did it himself. He did a pretty good job. He come here because we told him, you know, do it yourself. He already figured out which ones were leaking himself. We kind of went back over and to make sure. And we said, you know, go ahead and do it. And he's like, I'm going to come there just in case something happens. So he came down here and we helped him out. And he did pretty good. So he said make the YouTube video for injector replacement. So that's what we did. So if y'all are wanting to get this done and y'all are doing it yourself, you better thank him because I wasn't going to post it.